By the 1880s, America's greatest industry, the railroad, was no longer the driving force behind America's economic boom. But it was still the backbone of the economy, moving goods and people from one end of the country to the other. And as monopolies, the railroads controlled the rates, charging whatever they wanted to the farmers and small-town businessmen who relied on railroads. Very quickly, a war sprang up between the robber barons and the public their railroads served. A war that was bleeding the public dry in exorbitant shipping rates.
Well, by the 1880s, railroads are now big business. There are 5 or 10 really big ones, like the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Union Pacific and the Southern Pacific and the New York Central and the Baltimore and Ohio, Chesapeake and Ohio. And there are 30 or 40 somewhat smaller regional railroads. But although they're not national in scope, these railroads usually will control their own state or be a dominant position in one particular state. So all over the United States, in every state, there are 1 or 2, or for a big state maybe at most 3 railroads that essentially dominate the economic structure of the state, dominate the transportation system. If you move anything in or out, it's going to be on their lines. There's no trucking. Coastal areas, there is some ocean shipping, but basically the railroads comprise well over 90% of the freight business and nearly 100% of the passenger business. This is late 19th century, before you had automobiles and trucks. So political movements developed to oppose these or to regulate them.
Small-town America's business owners weren't going to stand for the gouging practiced by the robber barons, and they asked the federal government for help.
The main breakthrough is in 1887, when the Interstate Commerce Commission is set up as a federal agency. It doesn't really regulate the railroads, however. It standardizes information about the railroads, and every railroad after 1887 now has to produce standardized financial returns and statistical returns to the government. So it's more of an efficiency measure. After 1900, however, as in California, as in Wisconsin, and several other states, strong movements come to try and take control of the rate structure of the railroads. This leads to federal laws. President Teddy Roosevelt's a major leader in this. Federal laws are passed about the 1906 period that give the Interstate Commerce Commission strong powers to set railroad rates and to prohibit practices like secret rebates that the local communities don't like.
The balance of power between government and business changed forever. From here on in, American business and industry would always have the federal government looking over its shoulder. It would just be a matter of how much.
Hi, I'm Bill Ambrose. If you like this video, subscribe so we can bring you more programming from our studio. Thank you for subscribing.